Chairman Chey, thank you so much for having us at SK Hynix here in Korea. I wanted to start out by asking you, you are in charge of a lot more than just this company, but how important is memory within SK Hynix, even though you have more than 100 subsidiaries?
Yes, this is an AI era, so people needed a lot of memory. So is it the AI. So right now, what I really believe AI is a kind of small child. It's 4-year-old only. But, well, as they grow, they might need much more the functions, and they needed a lot of experience and more knowledge. Then you have to store those kind of knowledge in somewhere. Like a human. Human needed, in a child you have some small brain and there is not much memories. But if you become an adult, then you had a lot of experience, you had a lot of memories and wisdom. So I think that the AI is almost the same thing. And so that's why we need a lot of memory, and that's memory chips in the AI side. So, but among our subsidiaries, the Hynix, Hynix is the biggest subsidiary right now, so that's no wonder. But for the AI, we need the energies and networks too. So in that sense, that our own portfolio, we have energy company and network companies called the telecommunication company right now. But they are trying to make that the AI data center in the future. So we have some kind of optimize the portfolio. What I'm saying. So yes, but you are right. Right now, as Hynix is the most important the piece of the portfolio.
And it wasn't always a semiconductor company. Your beginnings were in textiles. I got to see the museum yesterday. Yes. When and how did you decide, and was it you who decided to make this a semiconductor company?
Well, yes. That was 2012. So what I really decided, we needed some other portfolios, because we already had some portfolio for the energy side and the chemical side and telecommunications. But what I really needed somewhat the global business. So also in a digital era at the time, as what I really see that I don't see that the AI at the time, but I really believe that digital society also needed a lot of memories. So you have to actually put in a lot of knowledge and the data and put it in somewhere. So, that's naturally that storage is memory chips. I just go for that those companies, and this might be the future. So I made it a very risky bet at the time, but right now as one of the biggest and the successful the bet in my life.
You're making another really big bet now, $720 billion to build it out. How do you tell people that the long-term sustainable business can sustain that kind of investment?
Well, if you see that the demand forecast, like people probably using the more AI agent. So in the future is an AI agent. What I really see in compared to 2025, and I think that the 77 timefold within the 5 years. So then much AI agent probably it'll be the whole world. So that also requires a lot of memories. So what I really see is that the memory increase, the total volume is within 10 years, I guess, almost 5 times current the production capacity. So demand is enormous. So what I really believe that in order to meet those kind of demand, and we have to actually expand very quickly. So that's what I really decide, and we should expand our supply capacity.
Right here we have a wafer with a signature on it.
Oh.
Yes. So
That's the Jensen's. Yes.
is he one of your friends? And who are some
Yes.
of your other friends in the AI world?
Oh, well, mostly the hyperscaler, the Microsoft Satyas and Google Sundar, and well, Mark and Metas, and well, you mentioned everybody needed our customers, and mostly they are my friend, and well, I occasionally meet them.
How about TSMC?
Oh, of course, yeah, CC Wei, yeah, well, I just met him about a month ago, so I visited Taiwan, and we had dinner together. So we exchanged a lot of information and the forecasting in the future. So yes. So he also believed that the AI is a real technology, and we have to actually expanded our capacity a lot. And not only, well, even though there is a lot of memory, if TSMC capacity is limited, then well, there is not much in the GPU, and vice versa. So even though TSMC capacity is a lot, but well, there is not enough HBM, then well, there is no use. So
yeah, I mean,
we have to actually make partnership together and working together. So well, that's the kind of relationship with the TSMC too.
Right, they're producing your base die, correct? Right. How do you get enough capacity on their manufacturing lines? I mean, everybody is lining up to try to get that capacity.
Well he knows that that's the important pieces. Because without that, and there is no AI productions, especially in the GPU side. So no matter how he had that, the demand is overwhelming, but I believe that he's going to make that our base die, of course. And
back to Jensen, how important is Nvidia as a customer?
Well, it's the most important customer right now. So he's also developed the product and the new product in every year. So that kind of speed is I always admired those things, and we also push that new chips and the new technology, alongside with him. So that's one of the really good company, really admirable companies in the world right now. So I still believe that in the future, so they are dominant, and they actually had a lot of technologies, not on just GPU side, and so he tried to make the AI ecosystems within the friend together. So not only just his own company, but he actually made a lot of different type of partners, and he trying to make that ecosystem together. That's the most important matter.
Yeah. Does it create risk to have so much of your business with one customer, Nvidia?
Without Nvidia's, there's AI ecosystem is not there. So actually he created a lot of the solution for the AI infrastructures without his productions. So I have to actually support that as much as I can do it. That's a kind of important matter. But he's not only our customers. So I always said some of the other customers like Google's and Microsoft and other hyperscalers. But some of them they make the chips. But right now, scale is Jensen's company is largest. So that's actually I'm not really dependent on just one customer, but I just want to solve that the largest customers in the world right now. So.
Are any of these customers helping you with this build out? Can they do anything to help you ramp capacity fast enough to help them fill their demand, help you fill their demand?
They're always asking more chips. So that's the one thing. And I'm trying to bring them some solutions. But right now, kind of demand is a kind of it's kind of explosive things, and especially it just occurred that the last year if we want to expand the capacity, so we need a lot of lead time, at least at the 4 to 5 years. So probably next year is the hardest year because that all of the memory companies are not actually prepared to expand their capacity yet, but still demand is growing. I think that the demand is growing twice than this year. Actually, yeah, all of my customers are asking, almost double of their demand. So they're asking more chips into next year's, but supply is not there. So it's kind of, I don't know how to say. It's like a war between that. Everybody wants that for the memory chip. Without that, they cannot produce it. Their AI computing and AI chips and also one of the bad thing is the prices went up too fast. So I think that there is a problem with the PC manufacturers and the smartphone manufacturer, consumer electronics, and even automakers has some difficulty to find the chips. And some of them, even though their chip is too expensive. So one of my job is that I want to defend that all those the memory market, and I'm trying to actually expand that as much as I can and as much as fast as I can. So
yeah, memory prices have gone up 40-50%. Do you anticipate seeing that continue? I mean, Apple, one of your customers, has had to raise prices on their flagship products. Are we going to see that continue?
Well, that's one of what we call as a chipflation. The price of the chip is too high, and even play like Apple, then they have to raise the price, and so that actually increased all the prices to the society. So that's not really good. So I don't want that, but it just happens. So I don't have any solution in a short run. But that's why I put it in the huge money scheduled to expand the fab. So I already announced that within 5 years we're going to double up our capacity, but most of the customer, that's not enough. So we need more. So that's the kind of problems right now. But physically, some it's not possible. So that's one of the problem with that's what we call that the AI bottlenecks. Yes. So right now, as a memory chip is AI the bottleneck.
HBM is or DRAM is about 3/4 of your revenue. One solution that others are exploring is trying to architect chips that need other things aside from DRAM to try to do AI. Does that create any risk?
No, technology is just evolution. Evolve any time. So DRAM is just based things, and with those the DRAM, and we actually stack up and make an HBM, and we might add that one of the solution for the CXL type, and there is a various type of the technology which can actually support the AI data centers. So in the future, there is a few options. So, but I think that our company is actually full support that every possible way to expand the memory capacity, and our final target is that how we can actually lower down the token cost for the AI. And right now, as what I really believe is a token price is too high. So we have to actually push down the more. So otherwise, people have to spend too much money for the tokens.
One analyst told me that memory companies in Korea historically have put a lot of focus on CapEx to try to get market dominance. Sometimes, at at risk of when the bust happens, you've overbuilt. What do you say?
Yeah, we always carefully doing that, but we just announced that the huge expansion plan. But well, that's only the condition, and the demand is there. So we actually every time and we're gonna expand, and we will check demand is there, and our customer made it some long-term agreement with us, and we also had the various program to how we can actually share those kind of risks together.
What kind of programs?
Well, we can make that some fab joint venture. Mm-hmm. Well, also, I can actually do that. We call that the memory as a service. So it's like not only just that selling the chips, but it's a lend to whether. Well, there's a various different type of programs, and well, we might share that there's some risk on that, and yeah, we don't want that the oversupply, but well, we don't also doesn't really want it to undersupply either. So we always check, and right now as a another big thing is the HBM, but people needed a lot of AI accelerators in these days, and probably every country and every society wants to have that those things, and in order to get there, we actually produce a lot of HBM, but that problem is HBM. Once you expand that those kind of HBM, and it actually consumes in more than 4 times of the normal DRAM. So they actually eat up the space of the wafers. That's the kind of problems. But well, what can you do? So well, we have to do it, and that's why actually we produce that a lot of wafer the capacity. So, but I don't really think that well, you said that you are right. There is some risk on the oversupply, but we already noticed that, and we carefully confirm that all the demand and in the futures.
How have you seen the length of contracts or the terms of contracts change because of this?
Number one is that that's not just come from us. Actually, the customer wants those kind of long-term agreement because of they have to secure that the memory side, and so if customer wants, then we'll provide those things. And well, if you want to only money making the view, then it doesn't really help us that right now as a shortage of demand, and I don't want to have that fixing some price and demand those kind of long-term agreement. But I wanted to have that some comfort zone to especially our customers. So we are offering to the long-term agreement, and we checking that that's one thing, and we got to secure those kind of demand, and every years we have to check it, and we're going to expand that those long-term agreement year by year. So that's one thing, and we can do it together. So yeah, let's just check, and don't make that the over investment or the under investment. So.
I heard that the hotels around Korea have been packed with tech moguls coming here to try to sign these long-term contracts. Is that true?
Right. But yeah, as I told you, probably next year is the worst year for that the memory shortage. So there's a lot of people who wants to buy that, try to find it. Find the chips, but well, our supply capacity is limited right now. So yeah, well, that's why whenever I met our customers, I'm really sorry about this. But well, if everybody wants that all the chips, then I cannot just provide the automatically. So well, but I'm trying to my best. So that's the only things. But yeah. Next year is a kind of worse year for the chip shortage wise. Mm-hmm.
2023 was a hard time for you.
Yes.
You kept going. 1997, that was also, the company just neared bankruptcy. This time, what's going to be different?
This time, I don't really believe that this time is different, but But one thing different is that we have to deal with the new things, new baby, the AI. So AI actually changed our society. So also that AI consumes a lot of resources, as you know, and they're going to add up a lot of energies, the powers, and the materials, the silicons, even waters. So also it just created the intelligence. Not like old days. Old days we produce it just product. But yeah, people can use it. This intelligence is differently. So we can be much more smarter, happier. So also there is some danger. I know that, but we have to carefully watch out for that kind of dangers. But in general purpose of the AI could actually help that relieve from the human side is labor. But AI actually makes us that there is not much difference between the people to people. So that actually give us that the much more relief from the tension of the whole society. That's what I really believe. That's actually the benefit of the AI side. So we don't have to the hard works, and we also had that there were no difference in the people. Then we might have that there was some there's more chance we can make that a happy society.
Speaking of power and water, you've mentioned that those resources are more important when choosing where to build than geography.
Right.
Does the U.S. have enough resources to support an HBM4 production facility?
Well, whenever as the ecosystems for the memory chips, so if you see that the world that nice big the memory the fab, but in the behind the scene there is almost 600, 700 different company has to support their material, chemicals, and services. Otherwise, they cannot really survive. So that's one of the biggest problem. Every country wants to build the memory fab in their territory. So, but if there is water, powers, and land, and also the problem is that the ecosystem. So if I can bring that ecosystem together, then I'm going to build then anywhere, anywhere in U.S., including U.S. and anywhere in the world. So our study team is really looking for that. All those where is a real possible opportunity and how fast we can build that the new fab, and that's how we can relieve that this shortage of the memory. So.
You have the site coming to Indiana in the U.S. Your SK Hynix has denied reports that you are acquiring another project, from another partner. But the U.S. government, the U.S. Commerce Secretary, just in July, has put the pressure on for you and Samsung to bring a full memory fab to the U.S. What are your plans?
Well, as I told you that, we've been studying. So I cannot just announce that, yes, we're going to build some fab in somewhere, but where? We have to actually decide in the inside that which, when, and how, and we need much more the details, and we also need a lot of contracts together.
Yeah.
So,
but you're working on it.
We are working on it. So not only just the U.S. and in whole world, and I'm looking for that some expansion. I'm willing to do it, but the problem is that I really hard to find the right place yet. So, to tell you the truth, and we've been studying more than a month and.
Studying the U.S.
Yeah, U.S. also study, and somewhere else, and we also study together.
Are you getting calls from the U.S. government or customers saying build in the U.S., build a fab in the U.S.?
Well, U.S. customer wants to build the fab in U.S. soil.
And the government?
I actually haven't talked with directly with the government yet. So, but this is kind of business. So, if customer wants it, and I'm really wanted to pursue this kind of opportunity together.
Mm-hmm. What is your advantage over Samsung and Micron?
Well, I can say a lot of different things, but the Hynix, as you know, that is under the Chapter 11 companies. They've been there in more than 10 years. So they are really hungry. So what we call is Tokata, is really has some fighting the spirit. So without that much the resources, and they actually make something out of within their spirit. So what I really believe that their teamwork is really good, and generally as kind of the spirit, what I really believe. And then I had that was technology-wise is almost the same thing. Resource-wise, probably some company has the bigger resources, but we have enough resources. So it's money or the engineering power. So it's almost similar. But I guess that the teamwork and spirit could make the changes.
One way you're getting more money is from proceeds on the U.S. markets. How was debut day for you? How have you felt about the performance on the U.S. market since?
Well, that's a kind of big movement, even though it's just the first step. But that first step into that global financial market, and I see that there's a new shareholders and new financial supporters. I see that that's kind of a big opportunity for us, and we can have a lot of different type of options, financially and market-wise, and even I have better. I have option to make the better incentive to the potential the candidate from the engineering peoples in US side. So it's that's why actually we decided to open up the new R&D centers in US side, and also the Indian fabs, and we've been actually thinking about the potential lot of other investment, especially the AI side. That's why actually we set up with what we call the US AI company. So that actually investing a lot of money in the AI side.
Yeah, $10 billion for that. What is that company?
What we call we try to access the US technology. So we bring our own the memory technology, but also I needed a lot of other technology to system knowledges and the other AI technology together, and we may have a better solution for the AI data centers and the AI infrastructures, AI software. So these days, all the software has to actually link with the hardware together. So, but US has the really good software engineers, and you had really good software industry. But hardware-wise, maybe the Koreans and Taiwan, Japan has a little better the manufacturing facilities. So well, we can actually add up together, and I hope that we can make it, and that's why we set up that company and for the investment for the AI side.
I think your build out here is impressive. I've gotten to see it. It's immense. And I'd love to have you close by telling us why that risk, that huge investment, and that huge site that we've seen is going to be sustainable and last in something that's traditionally been a boom and bust cycle. Why is this time, is it going to stay?
I told you that the demand side, but what I really believe in the future is, well, in the past cycle of that memory business is depends on the number of the people, because the number of the hardware set. So without the hardware set, actually, well, you're not really consuming that the smartphone one at a time. So you're not going to buy that the tens of the smartphone someday. So, but yeah, the number of people is kind of limited, bounded by that the whole market. But AI era, I think, is different, and you might have that 10 different your AI agent and help you. So that all that agent has that is needed more memories. So those kind of expansions. So I don't want to say that there is no cycle, but I want to say that the cycle movement has to change. So it's a much longer cycle. I'm not really sure because that nobody really see that the whole features, but I feel that this is not a normal things and what we used to be in the memory business. So this is a kind of turning point for us as what I see that some structural change. So that's what I see, and right now, as my customer wants that a lot of the product, and I'm responsible to deliver those kind of product. And we'll see, and it might be that continue to, but I cannot just say that when and how it's going to change that this market move. I'm not really sure that in the futures, but I see that in near future, I see some strong movement for in the demand side. That's for sure.
Chairman Chey, thank you so much for having us here.
Thank you.